We have dreams every night. Like everybody has dreams, but you might say that dreams don't make sense, or most of the times they don't make sense. But you would be wrong. Dreams do make sense, but in a different way. Like I have been studying psychology by Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, and from that, I have learned something called dream analysis, and I have been analyzing my dreams, and I have noticed that dreams do make sense, but in a different way. And from that, I have a theory. Like, we generally label things as logical and illogical. But I think that's not how it is. Logic isn't something singular or absolute. My theory says that logic is not just of one type. Logic is just patterns. So, for example, I want to show you this. So, you're seeing a lot of dots here, right? So, think of this each dot as events. Okay, something happened and each of these dots are some kind of event. So what would be logic is that if we can connect these events with a pattern, like, see, these events are being connected by a pattern, and here this pattern is a square. So this is what I think we call logic, when we can connect some events according to a particular pattern. And here is a different set of dots, and you cannot seem to connect them in the same way you connected these, like with squares. Now you cannot connect these with squares, but you can connect them in a different way. So you can connect these dots in this pattern. These are pentagons, we know that. So this is what my theory says. Logic is just a way in which we can connect events according to a pattern. Now, these system of logic and these system of logic would be different. And according to my dream that I took the example of, let's say our world or our physical world that we live in runs in this pattern of logic, and let's say dreams connect in this way. But when we see the dots and we cannot seem to connect them in the same way our usual life connects, we usually label it as illogical. But according to my theory, that's not true. Dream is also logical, but in a different way. And similar to this, there can be multiple ways of connecting events according to different patterns. So there could be multiple forms of logic. So the dream example is just to explain this. Well, we cannot exactly say that dream has a completely different pattern of logic than what our real world is. The logic pattern is connected, but it's a bit different. So, but if parallel universe do exist, parallel universe can have different patterns of logic. Like if our universe runs in this pattern of logic, another parallel universe that has different laws and different physics can learn in this pattern of logics. But if we are to be transported into this universe, nothing would seem logical. But it is logical. We just have to figure out the system of logic in that universe. But does that mean everything is logical and there is nothing that is illogical? Well, I think there are things that are illogical. Like, see this pattern of dots, like this pattern of events that I would say. And no matter how much we try, we cannot connect them with similar shapes. Like here the same pattern is connecting all the events, and here also the same pattern is connecting all the events. But if we try to connect these events, and let's see what we get. Now here the events are getting connected, but as you can see, it is not following a particular pattern. And according to my theory, if they don't follow a particular pattern, then it is illogical. So that was the theory. Logic isn't universal or something absolute. Logic can have types. Logic can exist in different forms, but the system of logics can be different. The way of connecting things can be different. So that's it.